Hello students, I am Kavita Upadhyay, your English teacher. I welcome all the students of class 9 to today's English class. Today students, we are going to start a new unit, Auxiliaries, and this unit will be covered in two parts. This is part 1, and in this part we are going to read about primary auxiliaries. You have already learnt verbs and their forms, tenses and their uses, different types of sentences, and how to change sentences from one type to another. All this knowledge will be used in today's lesson to understand auxiliaries better. Now read the following sentences carefully. I do not sing a song. Did they answer the question? I am reading my lesson. She was crossing the road. They have caught the thief. Now see the words written in red: do, did, am, was, and have. What do these words mean in the sentence? First sentence, I do not sing a song. What is the meaning of word do in the sentence? It does not mean anything in the sentence, but it helps the main verb sing. It helps to form the simple present tense in this sentence. In the same way, the words did, am, was, and have do not mean anything, but they help the main verb in the sentences. Auxiliaries. The word auxiliary means a person or a thing which supports the other. It helps or supports because it performs the function of helping the main verb. That is why it is also called helping verb or auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verbs are so called because they help to form the various tenses, questions, negatives, moods, and voices of other verbs. There are other verbs which are main verbs in the sentence, and auxiliary verbs help them to form tenses, questions, negatives, moods, and voices. They do not denote an action in a sentence. Example, you are going to school. In this sentence, are does not mean anything, but it supports the main verb going. Are going denotes present continuous form. Had my friends helped you? In this sentence, had does not mean anything on its own, but it helps the main verb helped to form past perfect tense. Auxiliaries are of three kinds: primary auxiliaries, do, be, and have. These three are called primary auxiliaries, and these are the auxiliaries which we are going to learn in today's lesson. Modal auxiliaries can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, and ought are called modal auxiliaries. Apart from these, there are marginal auxiliaries, need, dare, and used to. These marginal auxiliaries we will learn in the 10th class, and modal auxiliaries we are going to deal with in the next part of the lesson. Primary auxiliaries. The verbs be, there are 5 forms of be: is, am, are for present tense, and was and were for the past tense. Have, there are 3 forms of have and has for the present tense, and had for the past tense. And do, there are again 3 forms of do and does for the present, and did for the past tense. Be, have, and do are used with other verbs to form tenses, voices, negatives, and interrogatives. They are called primary auxiliaries. Uses of primary auxiliaries. The main function is to form different tenses. Do is used for simple tenses, be is used for continuous tenses, and have is used for perfect tenses. Do is used for simple tenses, be for continuous tenses, and have for perfect tenses. Keep it in mind. Now we will discuss each and every primary auxiliary in detail. Uses of the primary auxiliary do. First function is to form negative and interrogative sentences in the present and past indefinite or simple tenses. Examples are, I do not read others' letters. This is simple present tense. This is a negative sentence in the simple present tense. You know that in affirmative sentence, in the simple present tense, we do not have any auxiliary verb. We write it as I read others' letters. But when we have to change it into negative sentence, we have to have an auxiliary verb. So we use do here. She did not fail in the test. This is in simple past tense, and in past tense we use did. She did not fail in the test. This is simple past tense, negative sentence. Do you like mangoes? This is in simple present tense, and this is an interrogative sentence. Does he work carefully? This is simple present tense again, and this is also beginning with does. This is also a form of do. Did he jump over the wall? This is an interrogative sentence in the simple past tense. Second function is to avoid repetition of a previous verb. Like, do you like tea? In this question, we have the verb like, but when we answer it, we can say, yes, I do, or no, I don't. Yes, I do means, yes, I like tea. So, by using do, we have avoided repeating the words like tea. Do you like tea? We could have said, yes, I like tea. Instead of saying, yes, I like tea, we answer, yes, I do. And if I don't like tea, I would say, no, I don't. Use the correct form of do in the following sentences. He dash not give his pen to anyone. Dash you play football yesterday. Dash he make beautiful dolls. Dash you eat rice? Yes, I dash. Where dash your parents live? I hope you have already written the answers. Let us check your answers now. He does not give his pen to anyone. He takes does with it. This is a habit, present habit, so we have used simple present tense. He does not give his pen to anyone. Did you play football yesterday? Now the word yesterday denotes past tense, so we have to use past form of do, that is did. Did you play football yesterday? Does he make beautiful dolls? Again, he takes does with it in simple present tense. Do you eat rice? This is a question in simple present tense, and you takes do with it. Yes, I do. We have used do to avoid the repetition of verb eat. Where do your parents live? Your parents again is plural subject, so with plural subject we have used do. I hope you have got your answers correct. Uses of the primary auxiliary verb be to form continuous tenses. Be has 5 forms, as I told you, is, am and are in the present, and was and were in the past tense. We are learning grammar. Now here are is used with ing form of the verb to form present continuous tense. My father is not taking me to school. Is not taking me. Is plus not plus ing form of the verb. This is a negative sentence in present continuous tense. I am teaching you all. I takes am with it in present tense, and am teaching is present continuous tense. They were making kites. They were making kites. This is past continuous. Were denotes past tense. They were making kites is past continuous tense. Was I preparing for my test? This is again past continuous tense. It is a question. It is an interrogative sentence. In the formation of the passive voice, active voice, the peon opened the gate. Which tense is it? This is simple past tense. But when we change this sentence in passive voice, In simple past tense, passive, we have the rule was or were plus third form of the verb. Passive voice, the gate was opened by the peon. Again, active voice, she helps the needy. She helps the needy is in simple present tense, but when we change it to passive, we use is, am or are. The passive voices, the needy are helped by her. The needy means all the needy people. This is plural subject. So, are is used with it. The needy are helped by her. Be followed by infinitive is used to tell a plan. I am to shift my family to Agra. What is an infinitive? 2 plus base form of the verb or 2 plus first form of the verb is an infinitive. Be means is, am, are, was or were. When we use is, am, are and then we use infinitive, it denotes a plan or a command. When I say I am to shift my family to Agra, it means I have planned to shift my family to Agra. She is to get a pay hike next week. That means it is already fixed that she will get a pay hike next week. To denote a command, you are to bring the evidence tomorrow. This is a command, an order that you have to bring the evidence tomorrow. She is to make arrangements for the trip. This is an order for her that she has to make arrangements for the trip. Point out mistakes in the following sentences. I am be reading a book. They are to leaving in the morning. You to stay home for some days. The book opened by me. He were wearing a blue shirt. Now let us check our answers. I am be reading a book. Be is not correct. Be should not be used here. I am reading a book. This is the right sentence. They are to leaving in the morning. Leaving is wrong. We shouldn't use leaving here. We should use leave. They are to leave in the morning. This is a plan. That means be plus infinitive. Infinitive means 2 plus first form of the verb. You to stay home for some days. After you, a word is missing. These 2 slashes indicate a missing word. That means are is to be used here. You are to stay home for some days. You are to stay home for some days. That means this is an order, a command. You are to stay home for some days. The book opened by me. Again, a word is missing here. Which word? Was. The book was opened by me. Here the sentence is in passive voice, and for passive voice we have the rule was plus third form of the verb or is, am, are plus third form of the verb. He were wearing a blue shirt. This use of were is wrong because he is a third person singular subject and it takes was with it. So, the correct sentence is he was wearing a blue shirt. Now, uses of the primary auxiliary verb have. To make perfect tenses, they have completed their work. He has returned my book. She will have caught the thief by tomorrow. She had put my book on the shelf. You had not stolen anything. In all these sentences, we have used have, has and had to make perfect tenses. Have to is used with infinitive to express obligation or compulsion. When something is made compulsory for you, when you are compelled to do something, when you are obliged to do something, we use have to. I have to do my homework. She had to tell the truth. He has to pay the fee. You cannot do without it. You have to do it. Students, in negatives and interrogatives, have to is used with do, does or did. Like in affirmative sentence, if you write, you have to answer all the questions. If we wish to write the same sentence in negative, we will write it as you do not have to answer all the questions. Do, then not, and then have to. We are using it with do. In interrogative also, do is used with have to. Why do you have to answer all the questions? Similarly, in affirmative sentence, if we say I had to go there, This is in past tense. If we wish to write the same sentence in negative, we will write it as I did not have to go there. And in interrogative, we will say, did I have to go there? Now, students, you have to fill the correct form of have and main verb in the following sentences. My father dash just dash the fee. Have and pay. They dash never dash the Taj before 1998. Have and see. She dash bring her books tomorrow. Have to. You have to fill the correct form of have to. They dash follow orders, not have to. I dash already dash your pen. Have returned. Fill in the blanks. My father dash just dash the fee. They dash never dash the Taj before 1998. She dash bring her books tomorrow. They dash follow orders. I dash already dash your pen. Now let us check the answers. My father has just paid the fee. My father is singular, so it will take has with it. Just paid. It takes third form with it to make present perfect tense. They had never seen the Taj before 1998. Why have we used had here? Because the action took place before 1998, which is past. So we have to use past perfect tense here. They had never seen the Taj before 1998. Third form of see, that is seen, is used. She has to bring her books tomorrow. This is a compulsion. This is an obligation. Has to bring. Has followed by infinitive. They do or did not have to follow orders. They do not have to follow orders, or they did not have to follow orders. Both are correct. I have already returned your pen. I takes have with it, and then third form of the verb returned. Integrated exercise 1. Correct the following sentences. You and your friends is going to market. You have to correct these sentences. You and your friends is going to market. My mother has left for office when you came. They are visitors today. You has to bring your books to the class. The boy does not eat anything yesterday. Now let us check our answers. You and your friends are going to market. You and your friends, that means the subject is plural, so we are using are with it. My mother had left for office when you came. Why have we used had here? Because when you came, this is simple past tense, and the action of leaving for office happened before this. So we have to use past perfect tense here. Had left for office. They are to visit us today, or they are visiting us today. They are to visit us today. This is a plan. They are visiting us today. This is also showing a future plan. You have to bring your books to the class. The boy did not eat anything yesterday. Now, integrated exercise 2. Fill in the blanks. Reena dash go in past continuous tense to her father's house. She dash see in past perfect negative him for a long time. He dash, now here you have to use the verb feel in past continuous negative well that day. She dash, you have to use have and take for compulsion. You have to use these two words to make it an expression for compulsion. Him to a doctor. Reena dash to her father's house. She dash him for a long time. He dash well that day. She dash him to a doctor. Now note down the correct answers so that we may check them. Okay, now let us check the answers. Rina was going to her father's house. She had not seen him for a long time. He was not feeling well that day. She had to take him to a doctor. Rina was going to her father's house. Now we are telling why she was going to her father's house. She had not seen him for a long time. Before that, she had not visited him, seen him for a long time. So this is past perfect tense. He was not feeling well that day, and that day he was not feeling well. She had to take him to a doctor. This was a compulsion. This was a situation which obliged her to visit her father. Now here is homework for you. I hope you have understood the use of primary auxiliaries very well now. Now you have to read about modal auxiliaries from your book. Try to understand how and when they are used in a sentence. This will be helpful for you to understand the next part of this unit, modal auxiliaries. Good luck for your studies and thank you.